Hey everyone, welcome back. So far in this series, we have been building different applications covering different Kubernetes features. So we covered stuff like deployments, networking using Gateway API, stateful sets for database connectivity. We also integrated Kafka, Redis. We talked about the graceful shutdown, rolling updates. Now, as the application grows, there is another challenge, another problem that begins to appear. And that problem is not in the application code itself, but it is in the Kubernetes manifest files that we create. So whether it is deployment.yaml, or gateway.yaml or statefulset.yaml. So all these are called Kubernetes manifests. And that problem is to support different environments. So far we have deployed the application on local using Docker desktop. We will keep doing that. But the thing is, as the application grows, the application has to go through different environments. So you have to support different environments like dev, TST, production, and so we need to manage the application configuration as well. Now the thing is, when it comes to the application code, we typically solve this problem using Spring profiles for a Spring Boot application. But as we will see, this approach is not feasible for Kubernetes manifest files because, as we said, the problem is not in the application code, but it is in the Kubernetes manifest files. So in this video, we will learn how to handle that configuration management problem. There is something called Kustomize. So we will learn a little bit of Kustomize, how Kustomize can solve this problem using its base and overlay model. And we will also learn that concepts like Spring Profile or the configuration map that we already covered does not solve this configuration management problem and why we need Kustomize. So let's get started. So here we have a very simple demo application. It has no functionality. You can see that there is a single controller which has a single endpoint hello. Because the focus is on Kubernetes manifest files, we need to understand what is the configuration management problem that we are highlighting and how do we solve them using Kustomize. So we will focus on these manifest files, hence there is no other logic in this application that can distract us from the core problem. Now here we can see that there is this ConfigMap.yaml, which is a manifest file to define the configurations that your application needs. So you can see that there is this namespace that you have defined, which is default. Then you have some labels, and there is this property that you're defining in the configuration map, which is the logging level. And in this case, you are saying that it is info. So there are at least two assumptions that you are making. The first one is the namespace, which is always going to be default. And second one is the logging level, which is always going to be info in this case. That is fine if the application is running in a single environment only. What happens if you have to support other three environments like the TST or production? What if in production or in TST, you have a different namespace? It could be something like TST-NS. Or you have environment-specific namespaces like dev-ns. How do you support that in ConfigMap? In the same way, logging level could vary depending on the environment. So for example, in dev info is fine, but what if in production you have to set it as debug or something else? So the problem here is, based on the environment, what if you have some variations that you need to support in the configuration map? So just by having the configuration map, you cannot support these requirements like changing the namespace or changing this property based on the environment. What you can do instead, that you can create different ConfigMap.yamls for each and every environment, but that is the overhead that we are trying to reduce. Because if we follow this approach, then we need to create duplicate YAML files for all of them, which is not feasible. In the same way, here we have the deployment.yaml that defines your deployment. So we can see that the number of replicas in this case is hard-coded to 1. Which is fine again for local maybe, but let's say in TST you want the replicas to be 5 and in production you want the replicas to be 10. Then in the same way you can see that the image version is also hard-coded, which is fine for local or maybe dev. But what if you have a different CI/CD pipeline where you want to change this version for production or for TST? What if for each environment you have to deploy different versions of your application? How do you do that? If you have a single deployment.yaml and the image version is hard-coded, then how do you deploy different versions of your image of your application in different environments? Then here is another example of HTTPRoute. So in this case, you create this HTTPRoute if you are implementing the gateway API. Now, in case of HTTPRoute, your each environment would have a different hostname. So for instance, in dev, you have a hostname something like dev.xyz, but in TST, this is tst. So you can see that this host name would vary depending on the environment. In production, you would have a different host name. Then if you go back to the deployment.yaml, you can see that a deployment can have other configurations as well, like the request or the limit section, and you can see some absolute values for the request as well as for the limit. Then you have something like startup probe and you can have different failure threshold. So all of these things can vary depending on the environment. So now we understand the problem. It's not the application code that we can solve by using different Spring profiles. Here the values are in Kubernetes manifest files. So the problem is, how do we make them dynamic depending on the environment? Of course, we cannot create duplicate YAML files for each and every environment, because what would happen if you have, let's say, 3 versions of the same YAML, one for dev, one for TST, and one for production? How do you make sure that all of them are in sync? What if you updated the replica in dev and production but not in TST? So these are the configuration management problem, whether it is the drift or the duplication, that we can solve using Kustomize. So now that we understand the problem statement, we will move on to understand how Kustomize solves these problems. So before we understand how Kustomize solves these problems, let's revisit an old concept, and that is inheritance. So we know that in case of inheritance, you define something called supertype, and then all the subtypes, they inherit the behavior from your supertype. So in case you defined a behavior like M, then we know that all the subtypes will inherit the same type M. They can of course override the implementation, or they can also provide their own implementation, so it's allowed. And Kustomize works on the same logic, on the same concept. So what Kustomize says, that for your configuration, whether it is deployment, ConfigMap, or whatever it is, as long as it is a Kubernetes manifest, you define something called your base configuration. And once you have the base configuration, you can reuse them, you can kind of override them using something called overlays. So in this case, rather than supertype and subtype, we use the term base config and the overlays. Overlays are what you override on top of your base config. So for example, for dev, you could have a dev overlay. For TST environment, you would have a TST overlay. And similarly for production, you would have a production overlay. And each overlay would define certain YAML files that you want to override on top of your base configs. And in the end, when you apply the changes using kubectl and you pass a certain overlay file, then what Kubernetes does using Kustomize, it will look at this overlay file. It will see that what are the changes that you are overriding, what are the new things that you added, what is the thing that you are overriding on top of base. Then it will merge that particular overlay and base, and it will create one final YAML that will be applied. So eventually Kubernetes or kubectl, it always sees one YAML as we have been doing before. It does not see the base and the overlays both. It's the merging of these two files which happens behind the scenes. So here you can see that we now have different folders. This one is for base, and we also have overlays, which are environment specific configuration. And in overlays, you create one folder for each environment. So we have 3 folders here for dev, for production, and for stage. Then you define some configuration, your base YAML files, and you put them in base folder. So you can see that we have all the same YAML files: ConfigMap, deployment.yaml, gateway, HTTPRoute, secret service, everything as it is. So this becomes your base configuration. Additionally, what you do in each folder, you define a kustomization.yaml file. So you can see that in base we have all these YAMLs, which are your base YAMLs. Then we have this additional kustomization.yaml file. In the same way, when you define an overlay, so for example, if you just focus on the dev folder, then in a particular overlay folder, you define the YAMLs that you are overriding. So in this case, for dev, we will override the config map, some things in deployment, and some things in HTTPRoute. So that's why we are defining 3 YAMLs, which is like a patch for dev environment. And then again, we are repeating this file, which is kustomization.yaml. We will look at the content of this kustomization.yaml in a second. But if you notice the prod one, then you can see that we have some typical YAML files like config.yaml, deployment, and HTTPRoute. But then we have some additional resources, some additional manifest file, which are not present in base. And that is also possible, that is allowed. So same as inheritance, you can define new methods. In the same way here, you can define new resources, new manifests in a particular overlay. So you can see that the HPA.yaml, which is horizontal pod scaler, and this pod distribution YAML, these are new manifest files which are not present in base, but they are allowed in production. So you can see the pattern here. In base, you define some base configurations. Then in each overlay, either you override the same stuff on top of the base, so you provide those YAML files, or you can override and then provide some additional manifest also. And then you can see that this one also has this kustomization.yaml. So each folder would have this kustomization.yaml. Now let's take a look at this kustomization.yaml. So in each folder, when you create the kustomization.yaml, then you define the API version, the kind, which is the object type. So you are saying that this is a customization manifest. Then you need to define the resources that this customization of this folder should be aware of. So as we can see, we have this customization in the base folder. So this base customization should be aware of all the base resources, and whatever your base resources are or manifest files are, you need to provide them under resources. So as you can see, all the base YAML files, we are providing them here. So all your manifest files which form the base, they must be here under resources so that your customization is aware of those resources. So two things: A, you need to have the kustomization.yaml in the folder, and then you need to tell Kustomize what are your resources. And additionally, in this case, we are creating some common labels. Now, if we move on to the dev specific configs, then you can see that. So here we have the config map, but this one is just for the dev. You can see that this is coming from the dev overlay folder. And here we can see that we are overriding the log level to be debug. In base, it was info, but in dev overlay, we are overriding it to be debug. So in the same way, if we check the deployment.yaml, which is coming from the dev overlay, so we can see that it is only defining the replicas. So in this case, it has the same replica one, which is same as the base. But the idea here is that you don't need to provide the whole deployment.yaml. You just need to define the changes that you want to override. So if I change this to 2, then that means in dev, I want to override the base replica from 1 to 2. And similarly, if we check the HTTPRoute.yaml for dev environment, then you can see that here we are overriding the hostname. Now this is dev.demo.local, but in base it was demo.local. So in a sense, what we are defining here in this dev overlay are simply patches. So now if you go to the kustomization.yaml of dev environment, then you can see that it is following the same pattern. A, you need to define the resources. But in this case, since dev overlay is not defining any new resource, all the YAMLs are existing, whether it is ConfigMap, deployment, or HTTPRoute. These are existing YAMLs, same as the base one. It's just that we are overriding the configs. So we just provide that all the resources are existing and you need to refer them from base. Then you can see here that we are overriding the namespace, and the namespace is not development. So that means when we deploy the application using dev overlay, then Kubernetes will check if this namespace already exists. If yes, then fine. Otherwise, it will create a new namespace and all the resources in your dev environment would be created in this namespace. So you can see that you don't have to hard code the namespace for your environment in the base configmap.yaml or in any base resource or in any base YAML file. You can do it in your kustomization.yaml, which is part of your dev overlay. Then you have the image. So here we are overriding the image. We are saying that the name of the image is this, but when you deploy this application in dev, use this tag. And then the important part, the patches. So patches are the customizations that you are doing on top of your base. And earlier we saw that we did some customizations on ConfigMap, deployment.yaml, and HTTPRoute. So we need to provide all those YAML files under patches so that the Kustomize can apply those patches in order to create one consistent view of your YAML before it deploys the changes. Now when we come to the prod customization file, then you can see that under resources, we are referring to the base, which is a mandatory requirement. You need to refer to the base so that it finds all the base YAML files. Then it is defining two additional YAML files. And you can see that these two YAML files are not part of the base. Hence, you can define additional resources as well. It's just that all your resources that you are referring must go under resources section. So A, you need to refer the base, then you can define the additional resources, additional YAML files that you have in an environment. Then in the same way in prod overlay, we are creating a new namespace with the name production. So all the resources, when you deploy them in production environment, they will be part of this namespace, which is production automatically. You don't need to change anything in any YAML file. In the same way, you can see that here we are overriding the image tag. So the name remains the same, but the tag is now 1.0.1. And then you define the patches as well. So what that means is in production overlay, we are overriding some things in deployment, in ConfigMap, and in HTTPRoute. Then additionally, we were creating two additional resources. So the additional resources would go under resources and the customizations would go under patches. So for example, if we pick the deployment.yaml for production, then you can see that here we are overriding the number of replicas from 1 to 8, and then we are overriding the limits. And in the same way, if we check out the HTTP route of production, then you can see that we are overriding the host name, which is the prod URL demo.company.com. So in a nutshell, what you do, you define one base folder, then you define your base YAML files. Then for the customizations, you always create this overlays folder. For each environment, you create an overlay folder with the name of your environment like dev, prod, TST, whatever it is. Then you override the manifest that you want to customize. Then each folder must have this customization.yaml. And what goes in this customization.yaml is your resource. If you have additional resources, then refer them. Otherwise, the overlays would always refer to the base one. You can define your namespace, some common labels. You can override the images. Then all your customizations or any overriding that you have done would go under patches. So to test this, first of all, we will create the Docker image of this application so that we can deploy this application using customization.yaml. So let's create the Docker image first. So we can see that the image has been created. Now, in order to deploy this application, we need to provide one kustomization.yaml file, and we used to provide the Kubernetes manifest file like deployment.yaml or services.yaml. Now, earlier to deploy any application on Kubernetes, we used to run kubectl apply command, and then we provided one Kubernetes manifest file like deployment.yaml or configmap.yaml. But with Kustomize, it's a bit different. Because in this case, we don't provide the YAML file, we don't provide a particular manifest, but we point kubectl to a particular overlay. So in this case, say you want to deploy this application in dev, so we need to give the path to this dev overlay. That would be k's, overlays, and dev. Similarly, to deploy this application to prod, we will provide the path to this overlay. So what that means is, suppose the image has been created, now we want to deploy this application but in dev. So we will run the same command kubectl apply. But now instead of using -f and file, we will use -k, and then we need to provide the path to that particular overlay where we want to deploy this application. So in this case, let's say I would say k's, then overlays, and then dev. So here we see two different issues. The first one is a warning which says that common labels has been deprecated, which is fine. It will work for now, but this has been deprecated. There is another attribute that we need to use to apply the common labels. The second one is that it could not find this namespace, which is development for dev overlay. Now the thing is, it does not create the namespace. That namespace must exist first. So what we will do, we will create the namespace first, and then we will rerun the command. So this time you can see that all the YAML files of dev overlay were applied and all the relevant resources were created. So now that these resources have been created, let's verify if all the customizations that we wanted to apply as part of dev overlay have been applied. So in the new tab, first of all, we will check if that new namespace has been created, which will, because we explicitly created it, but let's still verify it. So you can see that this is the namespace, the development namespace that we just created. Then if we check the resources or the pod or the deployment in this namespace, then we should see one deployment in this namespace, because that's what we did, because we have this patch for deployment where we are overriding the replica to be one, although there is no change, the base also had one. But the point is, in this namespace, we should have this deployment. So we will do that. We will provide the namespace and then we will check the pods. So you can see that there is one pod running, the number of replicas. So we can see that there is one pod running, which is fine. And that's what we defined. The replicas in this case is 1. Similarly, you can check the service as well. There is one service which has this cluster IP. And if we check the HTTPRoute, then you can see that this has the overridden host name, which is dev.demo.local. Similarly, let's describe the config map. So first of all, let's list it down. So we can see that this is the config map that we created for dev overlay. Now, if we want to check the value of this one, so we will do that. Describe config map and the name of the config map. And we can see that the property that we defined in this config map has the value debug, because that's what we did in case of dev overlay. We updated the property to have the debug, the base add info. So you can see that just pointing to this dev overlay, it automatically merged all the files, it applied all the patches, and it applied all the customizations, created one consistent YAML file, and using that YAML file, the resources were deployed. So you can see that to support different environments, we don't need to create separate YAMLs, we don't need to duplicate the code. So in this video, we learned why managing duplicate copies of Kubernetes manifest files does not scale, and how the base and overlay model of Kustomize eliminates the configuration drift, reduces the boilerplate YAML files, and how this Kustomize generates the environment-specific manifest files while keeping a single source of truth. Then we also saw how Kustomize fits into your deployment workflow, at least on local, using kubectl apply -k command. So far everything has been on local. As we move on with the course, we will see how to do this properly using proper CI/CD pipelines. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.